Well, new polls are out today on the number of Americans who think this country is headed in the wrong direction. In fact, that number has reached a new high for the Obama administration. Back in June of '09, Americans were mostly split on the issue, with close to 46% of voters saying the nation was headed in the wrong direction. Fast forward to this month, and an overwhelming 61.7% are unhappy with how things are going. Leslie Marshall is a syndicated radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. Leslie, thanks so much for being here. So now, according to the Real Clear Politics average, we're up in the 60s, 61.7. But I was looking at that, at the breakdown of that to see, is it just one poll that was super high and one poll that was super low? No, it's the polls are from NBC News, Wall Street Journal, CBS, New York Times, Rasmussen, McClatchy, Associated Press, ABC News polls, and they're saying this is the number. These are the numbers who say we're on the wrong track. 61.7, 62, 60, 67, 61, 60, 60. I mean, poll after poll now, the American people are saying this country is headed in the wrong direction, and the reason they cite repeatedly, there are many, but the top one is the economy. Who gets held accountable for that?
Well, according to the American people, they're holding the president accountable. Obviously, they're holding Congress accountable, but they're not looking at who really originally was accountable. When it takes 8 years or even longer for an economy to end up in the position that we are today, they can't, in all reality, expect it to turn around in a year and a half, 2 years. But that's what the American people want. Look, I'm one of the most impatient people alive, and I understand that impatience. But that's what's occurring right now, Megyn, is the people aren't feeling the economic turnaround, where the facts show, although slowly, as the president stated, we are making progress.
But more and more the people are, according to these polls, the more and more the people are actually not blaming President Bush. Some still do, of course. It's something like 40% still do. But the vast majority do not blame President Bush anymore. Now they're looking to the current administration to solve this problem. And even some liberal commentators are coming out now in light of these polls, consistent polling, saying the president missed a real opportunity. He was elected, he had coattails, and instead of focusing on a bleeding economy, top priority, he got distracted with health care. He sent more troops to Afghanistan, which the left has criticized him for. And now, according to some on the left, he's endangered his party come the midterm elections.
Well, first of all, November's a long way off, as you know, Megyn. When it comes to politics, a couple of weeks can be like a year. I certainly don't think the fat lady's ready to sing on Democrats or Republicans, for that matter. The president has a spend to stimulate the economy. Consumers currently are spending $7 more a day than just 30 days ago. So what they feel and what they perceive is not the reality in their own pocketbooks. But until they see and feel that growth, especially with jobs, I think the polls are going to indicate this, and I'm sure the president is not surprised at the poll numbers right now.
Well, but how does he answer to those? Because it'd be one thing if President Obama and the Democrats had managed to convince the American people that this truly was their #1 priority. But the American people, for whom it is their #1 priority, according to virtually every poll, that's the thing they're most worried about, the economy, they don't believe it. They, according to the numbers, seem to feel that President Obama has gotten distracted, and that while he's, created certain job initiatives, he's focused on other things.
I would disagree with that. Although, I am one of the American people, I disagree with that because the president, yes, BP, oil, and the spill and the cleanup, and that goes hand in hand with some economic issues, have to be focused on. But the economy is not off of his plate. He has always said, he maintains, and everything he said is proven to be true. We are going to make some strides. We're going to have some setbacks. We will win this. We will pull out of this recession, which we technically already have, and turn a corner. But it's going to be a slow growth back to a recovery. And Americans are just not patient enough. Look, we live in a drive-through society. We're not going to have a drive-through repair on this economy. Megyn, you laugh as a woman. I always say it took 10 months to have my daughter and 10 months to gain the weight, 2 years to lose it. We have to remember that.
Yeah, sadly, that's very true for most women who become pregnant, and maybe it's true for this administration as well. But listen, this is according to a piece in the New York Times today, an opinion piece. They say that 15 million Americans right now are unemployed, and that actually is not the real number. The real number is higher than that. They say assuming no future economic setbacks, that's a big assumption, and job creation at a rate of 200,000 a month, which is also a huge assumption. Because we only had 41,000 created last month in the private sector. But assuming we could do 200,000 a month, it would take more than a decade to get us back to the jobless number of 2007, more than a decade. You could argue that no matter who was in the Oval Office, they'd be tarred by that, because it's going to take, if it's going to take 10 years to get us out of this, it's going to take some politician a long time to persuade Americans that he's doing all he can.
I don't disagree with you there that this is not necessarily just a Democratic or Republican blame issue, nor is the economy. Although I did love to blame former President Bush for as much as I could, Megyn, I couldn't blame him 100% for the economy. But we certainly need to look at those facts. And what we need to look at with unemployment is historically, even when the economy is high, summer, especially right before the 4th of July, unemployment numbers are always up, job numbers are always down because less people are hiring, more people are taking longer time to find a job, they're on vacation, they're taking the summer off.
But there's a reason. You're outlining the reasons that they're down. But the bottom line is when you go to pull the lever in that voting box in November, who are you going to blame? Are you going to blame the party that's in power and the president who said he was going to bring hope and change and turn this thing around? We had a bad economy that he ran on when he was pushing to become president. Or are you going to blame the minority party?
When I push the lever, I am going to push the lever for the individual that is going to follow through on the plan to an economic recovery. That might mean incumbent, it may not. And although I am a liberal Democrat, I believe the Democrats are the best choice. Each voter will look at that. If they look just along party lines, that can be wrong as well. You have to give this administration, you have to give this House and Senate, in my opinion, the time to fix this. And if Americans are hasty when they pull that lever in November, things could get worse.
Well, we'll be watching. Hopefully it is November, nice and far off, because it's a big birthday facing MK come November 18th. All right, Leslie. Thank you very much.